So Tower of God over the past 2 episodes has been exhilarating. As you can tell, my voice is shot. I came off of tonsillitis and now I'm kind of like in the process of regaining my voice / losing it again, so do forgive me. It's why there was no Tower of God review last week, because I literally was dying in pain. At least now I can kind of function in terms of video creation, and thank God, because I just watched the past 2 episodes, episodes 9 and 10, because when you don't see a review, and I do one of these double reviews, I don't watch it by myself and then rewatch it when I'm closer to doing it. No. I want everything to be fresh, I want it to be exciting, I want to have my raw reactions as I dissect and analyze the episodes in question. And I am so glad I do it like this, because I feel like the excitement I have for last week's episode, it would still be there, but it wouldn't be as exciting as if you're like, holy shit, I can't believe Ho's dead, I can't believe the betrayal, and I can't believe how they're setting up the test director as this antagonist who is like doing some shady shit, but I gotta admit, I'm kind of impressed by what's happening. And then of course you have the Kuhn manipulation, you have the kind of like friendships being built, but then most importantly, with episode 10, you end with this very interesting administrator test, but because only an irregular can take it, Bam has to take it, and what is that going to look like? And thank God for their fake acting in terms of Kuhn, because it's really great to see the gang kind of be formed, so if Bam completes this, they can get through the tower in the quickest way, but then be branded as supporters in a way that usually you wouldn't want to be. The past 2 episodes are just so well written, they're full of emotion, they're full of great actions, the character pieces, the Rachel and Bam content, I'm just like, everything about these past 2 episodes is absolutely incredible. I mean, I wasn't necessarily expecting Ho to die, but I wasn't expecting him to last the entire series. I thought either it would be like a parting scene, and if there was going to be a death, I thought it was going to be a while down the road, like maybe in the next test, or maybe after they complete the test. Like, I thought something like that was going to happen, and to see how he killed himself after just the defeat, it's like, okay, Tower of God isn't playing hard to get here. It's saying, hey, if a character has a knife, if a character has a sword, if a character has magic, you bet your ass it's very easy for characters to die, and if characters are full of regret and guilt, it's very possible they'll just take their own life by jumping off a cliff or stabbing themselves in the heart. And I'm just like, Tower of God, thank you. There are so many shows in a similar vein. Like, all the worlds are different in these shows, but there's always the familiarities. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, this reminds me a lot of Hunter x Hunter, and I love Hunter x Hunter. It's one of my favorite anime that have ever been made, and I love how it doesn't just feel like it's trying to copy that or it's trying to do this or that. No. Tower of God has its own very unique world, its own unique set of characters, but if you like those epic adventures with a lot of characters, a lot of magic in terms of like the way they explore the power systems, the political history and things like that, it's all there, and the character emotions actually matter, and you feel like, especially more so than I've honestly seen in anime, you actually feel like characters are in more danger than you're usually used to. That characters who say, I'm going to try to kill you, probably are actually going to try to kill you, and they're not going to get away just because of the power of friendship. If anything, the power of friendship was basically thrown into Bam's face, saying, hey, you know, I signed a dumb list, but that list meant nothing to me because I absolutely hated you. That's really impressive to me. It's something that seems very simple on paper, but honestly, you could easily go for a season or two before having Bam like emotionally change so he doesn't maybe follow those tropes as much, before actually having him have a wake-up call, where here he absolutely did. Not to mention, we see just how powerful he is. Literally having someone who is more powerful than any of these kids, and he shows him one thing and Bam immediately masters it and is able to freeze people and hurt them. It's like, what the hell is Bam? Why did he just like wake up one day with no memories and stumble across Rachel? This boy is insanely powerful, and the fact that we know that if an irregular enters the tower, it's going to cause chaos, it's kind of making a lot of sense. Not that Bam, I think, is going to be the Antichrist or something, but you know he's turning the tower on its head, especially seen by everyone once they see his powers of realizing he is way too good, and the things that he's doing should take a master years to most likely accomplish, yet he's doing it like he's buttering his toast, and it's like, okay. Like, I assume Bam's going to pass the test that he's in, but at the same time, I don't know what he's going to have to see, what he's going to have to accomplish, and what it's going to look like when he comes out of that failure or passing. But I'm excited to say the least, and I know a lot of people are probably going to bring up the whole Bam and Rachel relationship. I mean, I haven't seen it as much, but I always heard how much everyone hates Rachel, and I've always said you need a good character that's going to push your character in good or bad directions. You have the test director who's clearly doing that himself, he's casually torturing people, who just have a difference of opinion that maybe they should have passed, even if they're being assholes kind of like ranting out. I mean, maybe kind of like blinding them isn't the way to go, but I guess you gotta get out the weak, I suppose. But the whole idea that Rachel is like admitting to what she's saying, and I'm still keeping my eye on her, don't get me wrong, but it does feel like there's guilt and regret. But the fact that she's able to abandon Bam once, I feel like given another opportunity, she probably would do the same thing, where Bam still loves her as family, as literally that's his beacon of light that saved him from the darkness. And it's interesting how supposedly she's not going to be able to use her legs anymore after being stabbed by Ho, which, man, what a hoe. That dude was a bastard for what he did. Like, even if you don't like Rachel, it's like, it's a very scummy move, and it just seems like he was a very weak person who was very easily manipulated. And I love how, like, when the letter situation is being revealed, he realizes he's been played, but he's too far down the rabbit hole that he can't back off, even though he has two very powerful people staring him down. But the fact that apparently she can't walk anymore, and like this is going to be the way that she's going to be able to enter the next test if everything goes according to plan. But even if they do, like, are they going to push her around in a wheelchair? And it's kind of interesting because Bam's a character who I always thought was only going to climb the tower to see Rachel, but now he's climbing the tower for her. And if there is ever another act of betrayal, I'm curious what that will do to his character, because as we can see, you might be able to look at Bam and a lot of his dialogue and things like that and say, oh, why is he doing this? Why is he so dependent on this girl, this and that? But put yourself in Bam's shoes. He has no memories from before that dark cave. He found a beacon of light that took care of him and taught him things that then just disappeared. Even if he can say, yeah, you abandoned me, that's horrible, and I'm just so offended. There is so many people in the world, I think honestly most people in this world, that can build a connection, whether it's romantic, whether it's family, whether it's friendship. It can be anything. And even if they hurt you, you keep coming back because that connection just means so much, even if it's a toxic relationship. But honestly, the mourning and just the sadness, it felt real in that moment, even if there still is the potential that Rachel could abandon him and betray him again in the future. That moment where they hugged and actually were crying, it just felt like there was something real there, and you understand why Bam came back to her. And that's how you know the character writing's doing a great job, where you can see the potential of horribleness and bitchiness, but you still say, I understand where this character is coming from. And that's why when characters like Kuhn look at Bam, he's like, I wonder, maybe I was in the wrong. What if I did things the way Bam was? Would I be happier? And it's like, okay, this is quite interesting. With last week's episode and just the whole, like, just seeing the plan form and how I thought Kuhn was the 100% one behind everything in terms of also leaving the letter. But to see how he was manipulating things and how he was planning on who would pass and how he was eliminating people from the list that he didn't want to see. And then you have the administrator and just, I don't know what his objective is. I really don't. He's allying himself and just with characters that look weird, and the fact that he's like just trying to eliminate Anak and just like, it feels like he's the antagonist, but you also don't understand like what his objective is, which makes him all the more frightening, backed by the immense power that he does possess. And it's like, you just casually kill a worm, dragon, snake looking thing like you're just blowing air at him from an air dryer, and I'm like, okay, I'm liking your character a hell of a lot. Though it's kind of interesting, as great as the writing's been, really, my favorite part over these two episodes is Small Rack. Honestly, the man talks shit to so many people, and he talks shit to the wrong person who forces him into a child's body. And the playfulness, the adorableness, the fact that he can get smacked around like he smacks other characters, and the fact that characters like Bam just don't clue in until after he finishes talking, is some of the funniest shit ever, especially backed by he is so confused and disturbed by his ghost friend just disappearing. And like when characters bring it up, like the test director saying, hey, you know, he passed, but since he's not here, he failed. He's like, see, I told you he disappeared. Rack's comedy is the funniest shit this season for me. Like, not, like, obviously there's pure comedy anime that I love, like Kaguya-sama, but if we're talking about just general shows that aren't specifically comedy, but have their humorous moments, this show takes the cake for me, specifically for Rack. This dude is amazing. But Kuhn is a character who I still, favorite character in this show. He's someone who always is manipulating the chess pieces. He can be at checkmate and still be manipulating for the next game, and it's like, you know he's a cheat, you know he manipulates things for his own gain, but at the same time, when he says certain things, you feel like he means it, so that's why it's easy to get roped into his manipulation. Like, I know it sounds silly to say, but when he was kind of giving the speech about how, like, oh, he's an irregular, I don't want to help him anymore, for whatever reason, I just let my guard down. It's like the way the voice actor goes into it, it just feels like, oh, he's actually serious, and it kind of makes sense because if you're branded a friend of this, like, that could be a very bad thing. Even if he's great friends with him, like, he's not going to abandon him as a friend, but maybe he would abandon him as a teammate. And then I'm like, oh wait, he was being a fake actor. I was like, I'm so silly. But like, I love how the writing with the voice acting lends itself to just be like, okay, absolutely, I see what's happening. And then you have the whole endorsing content as well as Bam, and just how she's a character who, the way she was betraying everyone last week, and just how like she was trying to encourage Bam to go find Rachel and take her out. Just like, it's interesting how she's a character who, honestly, like most characters, besides maybe the director right now for me, I'm like, okay, you can do scummy things, but then in a matter of minutes, depending on what you're saying, I can think, oh, you're just fighting for the tower for your own reasons, that's why you acted like this, but you're not actually a bad person. Especially considering, like, she wants Anak to rise a tower with her, not because they're friends, but she's just intrigued by her. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of potential with that story route in general, and I love what she was able to do for Bam and how she, like, changes her tone, just seeing, like, Bam's the type of character that it's not just because he's the main character, it's because the way he's presenting and just like seeing the tower and how he's climbing it, it's different than everyone, which is why I'm sure a lot of the characters were like, oh, I'm shocked that he's an irregular, but I'm not, because of the way he's acting. And it's kind of twisting the entire tower and Tess on its head, because he's not being selfish like you're supposed to when you climb the tower, and that's really great writing. I thought these past two episodes were great. The voice actors hitting it out of the park, the pain, the laughter, and just the more mundane and like the mystery of what's happening. The sound direction was on point for the action, especially the more painful moments, like where you just like see the blood and you're like, oh my god, that looks so painful. But honestly, it's the script and the way the characters are continuing to evolve, characters leaving, characters being betrayed or betraying, and it's like, you don't know where they really want to go, especially with the test. It's like, you want to say Bam's gonna pass, but at the same time, what's that passing gonna look like, if any? And it's like, I'm excited. I really, really am. I'm hoping that for the remainder of the Tower of God anime, I'll be able to do the remaining couple of episode reviews, unless my throat completely goes out again, but I should be okay. But let me know your thoughts, either with last week, which I'm sure a lot of people talked about Ho's death, or this week and just the whole test and like what's going on. Do let me know. Webtoon readers, anime originals, whatever you're feeling, do let me know. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, share your support, remember to hit that subscribe button if you happy new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.